This is Monocle on Design Extra. It's a short show to accompany our weekly programme where we discuss everything from architecture and craft to furniture and fashion. I'm Maylie Evans. At the recent 3 Days of Design festival, the British brand Toogood collaborated with the Danish furniture and homeware firm Frama. At the company's Copenhagen flagship, an old apothecary, the result was a bold and colourful installation that included new tables and art, which in turn served as a backdrop to the unveiling of a capsule collection featuring hand-painted editions of Toogood's roper gilet and sculptural wall hooks. To find out more about the partnership and the art of good collaboration, Monocle's design editor Nic Monisse caught up with the designer Faye Toogood and Frama's founder and creative director Niels Droye Christoffersen.
The collaboration happened very organically. It hasn't felt forced, just very, very organic. I think we share a lot of values and a lot of approaches to Toogood. On the other hand, we're also completely different. The size of our two studios are similar. We both try to kind of convey something very personal and authentic. Maybe go against the stream, follow our own gut. And I think that what the collaboration is actually about, that you have these two parts that are merged into one, but it's very obvious what is what.
I'm curious that you said there's shared values, but then there's also, I guess, things that are quite different. How do those two interplay with each other? Maybe actually I'll throw this to you, Faye. There's obviously some commonality, but then there's also those points of difference. Is that friction a good thing? And how has that informed this work?
For us, I think in terms of the shared values, it's very much around, I think, human connection. There's an emotional value to what we're doing. I believe there's a sort of poetry behind what we both do. You know, it very much comes from the heart, not the head, a lot of what we do. And I feel that Frama is very much like Toogood in that way. And as Niels said, it's this dedication to your own personal path and creating your own way, irrespective of what everybody else is doing. And that's something that I've always respected with Frama, which goes beyond aesthetics, and we've also have for a long time shared, I believe, an aesthetic value too. In terms of the differences, the thing that I really admire about Niels and his team is the rigour and attention to detail. They work at a pace which, Toogood is probably very fast-paced, and perhaps partly because we are working with clothing as well. There's a certain pace to what we do, and perhaps, ripping up the rule book and starting again is something that I have done and do. The sense of reinvention is part of me and part of Toogood as a studio, and so that is perhaps a new sentiment, new feeling within Frama.
Faye, tell us a little bit about the actual physical installation. What are we looking at? What are these colours painted on?
It started with something that we were creating in the studio, a series of small maquettes and models, which is often how we start working, made of cardboard and hardboard, all hand-painted, but geometric shapes, collage shapes, things that feel like they've been ripped up, almost in a sort of Matisse-type way, very casually put together. And it was this assemblage of shapes and collage of colours that started to come and to be created. And this is what we shared with Niels and his team. And it was through the collaboration that we then decided to work on this in terms of a two-dimensional print and also three-dimensional space. So the collage work became three-dimensional as interrupting all of the spaces in the form of tables and sculptural-like display units for all of the beautiful Frama product, and for you to come and hear and eat and enjoy and relax. And then it's also then printed on the back of gilets that we've made that are here, and then also on the beautiful packaging for all of the apothecary as well.
There are hooks too as well?
There are hooks which are very much come from the genesis of the original maquettes that we made.
How do you build meaning, I guess, into your products that make people want to hang on to them?
We have this it's a bit tacky, but this future vintage.
Yeah,
if you can create this concept of future vintage, where you actually the owner of a product cares about it and has built up affections over time, and maybe they want to pass it on to other family members. In order to do that, you actually need to put a lot of energy into what you're doing and a lot of passion.
People feel that in the end result, in the product or object or whatever it is. If you've invested a lot of your own energy and emotion into it, I genuinely feel that people do feel that. So there can be a million replicas, but the replica will never hold that thing that is almost indescribable. It's so difficult to also replicate the originality of thought, the originality of craftsmanship, the hand. You know, if you can bottle that, that's what I feel people will connect to.
Faye Toogood and Niels Stroyer Christofferson. That's all for this week. If you're eager for more design stories, then listen to our main programme, Monocle on Design, airing on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. London time. Or if you prefer print, you can pick up a copy of Monocle magazine. It's available on all good newsstands now. Today's episode was produced by me, Maylie Evans, with help from Steph Chungu. Thank you for listening.